In the previous episode in our series on Warhammer Fantasy, we continued our coverage of the end times with a video on the rise of the Glotkin brothers, as we've seen how Chaos used them to break the Imperial Golden Bastion and advance into the realm of Karl Franz. One of the richest cities in the region, Marienburg, was now on their path of destruction, and the champions of Nurgle were about to attack it. As you're fleeing from Chaos, you'll probably want to take a few essentials with you. Got your wallet? You better hope that thing isn't too hefty, or it'll only slow you down. Well, if and when this happens to you, make sure you've got yourself a Ridge wallet, who are the sponsors of this video. Their wallets downsize the usual lumps of materials needed to carry cards and cash, giving you a sleek and stylish wallet that's not only smaller than even the smallest wallet we had, but comes with a lifetime guarantee. It's made from military-grade materials and basically isn't going to let you down when the Chaos Spawn start whipping at your heels. There's space for 12 cards, and there's a banded clip system if you want to attach cash to the side as well. It all comes in over 30 colours, it's got over 50,000 5-star reviews, offers a 45-day money-back guarantee if you change your mind, comes packed with replacement components, and has RFID blockers to fight digital thieves. It's everything your old wallet wishes it was, or perhaps the wallet of someone you want to get a gift for with the holidays coming along. Well, get it cheaper by using our link in the description and coupon code WW for 10% off. The city of Marienburg guarded the barrier islands and marshes formed by the flow of the River Reich, using the natural canals to swiftly move goods and vessels between their destinations in the Empire, Fair Britonia, and even as far as the High Elven island of Ulthuan. Despite the tentative relations with Altdorf, Marienburg was vital to the prosperity of the heartland of humanity. Thus, to destroy Marienburg, and thereby cut off a critical limb of the Empire, Archon encouraged Gutrot's Plague fleet to begin an assault, much like the siege that crippled Kislev's similar trading hub in Erengrad. Late winter 2525 IC, an allied fleet of traders, both local and foreign, prepared their vessels, knowing that somewhere in the Sea of Claws, an armada of Chaos and Norscan warships inched ever closer to their side of the coast. By now, news of the fall of the Auric Bastion had reached the ears of all within the Old World, and the naval warriors sworn to protect the trading hub hoped to catch the encroaching Chaos Armada off guard. Known for their legendary naval warfare tactics, a fleet of pearly white elven ships sailed confidently out of the Barrier Islands and west-northwest in a loose formation to sniff out and snuff out the harassing vessels of Chaos. Deep into the misty tide they sailed, until their silvery sails and gleaming hulls faded into the fog of the Sea of Claws. Meanwhile, the merchant vessel Misterhand prepared to sail after the elves, eager to salvage whatever treasures and supplies the elves might leave behind in their interception. Commanded by Captain Nida van Gaal and armed with 12 cannons, the galleon's 3 sails caught an easy wind in the night to follow the wake of their sister fleet. What they found in the Veil of Mist, however, shocked even the seasoned sailors aboard the Misterhand. The elvish fleet had been decimated at sunset that evening. Still sinking corpses of broken hulls and shattered timber trash the dark sea, the once glimmering and proud sails of the elven fleet finding a dark and watery grave at the bottom of the cold sea. An armada of plague hulks and Norscan longships had surrounded the elves with ease and sunk any opposing vessel. Any ship that surrendered was swiftly boarded, their captains murdered, and their sailors corrupted to the will of the Chaos Gods. With Nurgle's favour, Gutrot transformed the remaining vessels into floating cradles of festering disease and barnacled hulls. The Lord of Tentacles, having another glorious victory in the name of the God of Plagues, chased Misterhand back to the port of Marienburg. Having cleverly outmaneuvered the elvish naval resistance and stolen the rest of the ships for himself, Gutrot's Plague fleet arranged their armada to prepare for a massive assault. At the front of the fleet, the dreaded Green Wolf lumbered into range of the Dwarven-built seawall. On land, the merchants manned the impressive seawall and stood their ground defiantly. Deep within the port city's marshy dock district, an intrigued set of eyes in the shadows carefully watched the bloody siege unfold. the small merchant fleet that remained in the city sailed out to stall the massive force that threatened their home, but ultimately sank as Gutrot began an enormous attack on the severely outnumbered city. Just as the Green Wolf started a slow advance into the bay, the seawall suddenly burst with green mossy life that was slick and cumbersome, as if the very wall had been painted with a thick coat of noxious algae. Partially debilitating the defensive power of the wall, the Green Wolf sailed boldly into the heart of the port to challenge a human fleet flanking the powerful flagship Zegepral. Green Wolf's behemoth hull took barrage after barrage of cannonballs, dwarven flame cannons and ballistic bolts. Her hull was protected with a cocoon of algae, webbed and woven into open spores that spewed clouds of yellow and green smog. When a cannonball would strike, or a lick of dragonfire graced the glowing green ship, more diabolical magic and disease ensured that the vessel would not sink, and give Green Wolf a chance to launch a retaliation from the many catapults and ballistae on her decks. Once Green Wolf had breached the inside of the port, she confidently sailed into Zegepral's defending fleet to dominate the bay. Despite their brave defense against Green Wolf, the mortal sailors quickly fell victim to Nurgle's carefully curated plagues and diseases. The merchant ships were trapped, and as the armada behind Green Wolf's wake invaded the bay and unleashed a hellstorm of cannon fire and plague catapults deep into the barrier islands and crowded streets, Chaos marauders made landfall from the longboats to raze Marienburg. When the city had become infested with disease and algae, the watchful eyes within the dark corridors of the dock district finally emerged to reveal the true master of Marienburg. Mundvad the Cruel, a powerful vampire lord that had quietly settled and controlled the poorest and most desperate district, sprung an ambush just as Gutrot's fleet seemed to control the city. The dead merchants, sailors and peasants erupted from the oozing marshes and overwhelmed the surprised Chaos warriors on land. From hidden cairns, ghostly scythe cavalry and infantry phased through buildings to gleefully chase away their horrified foes. Having seen the tactics of Green Wolf from afar, the vampire lord channeled his rage into the summoning of a powerful vampiric terrorgeist, a giant dragon-sized bat with a mouth of sword-like teeth and a piercing scream that cripples even the most ferocious of foes. Known as the Swidok Beast, the vampire and his beloved undead companion launched a counterattack of equally massive proportions. Taking flight high into the sky, smoky with the fumes of war, the terrorgeist plunged down upon Green Wolf with a mighty scream. Frozen with fear, the infected engineers of the vessel became defenseless prey beneath the claws and fangs of the flying horror. The undead creature, unbothered by the noxious fumes and virulent diseases on board, slammed tooth and claw into the hull and sentenced Green Wolf to a watery, bloody grave in the port. In the streets, the commanding vampire lord slaughtered and feasted on the raiding marauders. Terrified of the endless hordes of undead and the ambushing vampire lord, the marauders retreated to the safety of their vessels, summoning the ire of the Glotkin champions. Mundvad the Cruel called for his flying bestial companion and mounted a charge against the Glotkin trio. Just as the maw of the beast threatened to sink its fangs deep into the fat body of Gurk, Etrak extended his arms and cast a powerful spell that blasted the terrorgeist with magic that dismounted Mundvad. The vampire, thrown from his seat upon his beloved beast of vampiric power, faced the trio in single combat. Dancing in and out of mesmerizing mist, Mundvad aimed to confuse and overwhelm his opponent as his legions of undead closed in on the champions of Nurgle. Gurk vaulted his lamprey-like arm towards Mundvad, and finally caught his slippery foe. With an echoing laugh from his brothers Otto and Etrak, Gurk turned his fat body inland and chucked the vampire lord out of Marienburg entirely. Mundvad was catapulted by Gurk so far that he landed somewhere upstream in the River Reich. Without the support from the vampire's master of necromancy, his undead legions crumbled back into lifeless corpses. From the southeast border of the city, a reinforcing army arrived to bolster the defense of the key trading hub. Composed of mostly Free Company militia, handgunners and infantry, the Imperial General Uldred van Karaberg ordered his forces to form a defensive block, and await the advance of the tired marauders and Chaos Warriors securing their hold of the Vampire Lord's territory. With the city nearly under total control of the Plague Fleet's might, the weary infantry and warbeasts consolidated their strength to the southeastern portion of the city, exhausted but determined to defend their newly captured prize. From within the slime-infested streets of Marienburg, a single unnamed and untested Chaos champion emerged to demand a duel with the Imperial General. Clutching his steel sword tightly and uttering a faithful prayer to Sigmar, Uldred clashed against the dark-armored champion of Apocalypse. Fate smiled upon Uldred as his blade cut down the champion before his watchful army. Morale within Uldred's companies rallied, and with a roaring cry, the lines of infantry sallied forward to reclaim Marienburg. The handgunners and company militia spread out into the streets to chase away the Chaos Warriors, yet quickly found that their confidence was sorely misplaced. The infestation of algae made the once bustling streets of Marienburg a slippery nightmare of grossly overgrown sea slime. Chaos hounds stalked the militia, pouncing upon any poor soul that lost their footing or became separated from their group. Just as quickly as their morale had peaked, their lives were lost to the clever chained-in landscape summoned by the Glotkin magics. Then, Marienburg was truly lost to the favoured grandchildren of Nurgle. Today we have provided for our father, and he has provided in kind. Witness how his hand shapes us a path to the throat of our prey. This day we have won a great victory, but it is a mere prelude to the glory we shall win in the streets of Altdorf. Gutrot Spoom, Lord of Tentacles. The Empire's northern reaches festered with plague, threatening each day to creep closer and closer to the heart of Reichland. With their major bordering port lost to the Plague Fleet and the River Reich completely unguarded, the Glotkin attained a critical advantage over the Empire. As if this were not damning enough, the Empire's closest ally, Bretonnia, fell victim to the spreading plagues of Nurgle. Herdstones erupted from the earth all over the Empire, rallying the roaming herds of beastmen into a coordinated force. If there still remained those who denied that these were indeed the end times, they would soon be labelled fools, as their hamlets and towns smoked under the hooves of massive raiding armies of beastmen. And yet still, there were fouler things lurking among the shadows of the south. Rumours spread of red-eyed monsters with razor-sharp teeth and worm-like tails lurking in the sewers and caverns of distant Telea. With time, the rumours would prove true, but many would perish just as the secrets of the Under-Empire were revealed to them. More videos on the end times are on the way, so make sure you are subscribed and have pressed the bell button to see them. Please consider liking, commenting and sharing, it helps immensely. Our videos would be impossible without our kind patrons and YouTube channel members, whose ranks you can join via the links in the description to know our schedule, get early access to our videos, access our Discord, and much more. This is the Wizards and Warriors channel, and we will catch you on the next one.